We're extremely lucky to have volunteers with a passion for connecting with other people, and two of them are here today. So these two who both amaze me with their warmth, their welcome, their ability to speak from the heart, and they're going to speak for a few minutes each from their very different faith and cultural perspectives. So first of all, it's my pleasure to introduce Katherine Longmuir, who's a Christian from Scotland. Over to you, Katherine.
Thank you, Ros. Only connect is the motto of a very famous English writer called E.M. Forster. His connections were from the heart. He wanted people to connect. I don't think he was a religious man, but he voiced what, as Ros has just said, is a general feeling. We want to be connected. We want to be understood. And we want to understand and connect with other people. Growing up as a Catholic in a small Scottish town, well, it wasn't always easy. We were a minority. Sometimes we were even publicly insulted for being members of that minority. My parents ignored all that and concentrated on what mattered. The parable of the Good Samaritan was very often quoted in our house. And I learned early that people were people were people, not labels, and that we all need each other. Of course, maybe it was harder to connect to religion in those days, although I didn't think so, because women played a very minor public role in all of the Christian churches. Priests and ministers were all men. Altar servers were all boys. Church cleaners, of course, were all women. It never even occurred to me to think that this imbalance existed. I didn't notice. Secure in my faith in God's love, supported by my family, I was happy just to try my best, go to Mass, sing the hymns, celebrate all the holy days of the church calendar. Now it's rather different, of course, and women play a much more obvious role in churches, but in Catholicism, we still have no women priests. When I look back over quite a long and fairly eventful life, I think that in everything worthwhile I have tried to do, my faith has been central. It has never left me. At every turn, God has reminded me that we are all his children, that active compassion and respect for others are the only ways to try to live an honest life, and that my many failures are not the end, but opportunities for new beginnings, supported by his forgiveness and love. It's hard to believe now in our cosmopolitan Scotland, but I had never met anyone of any faith other than Christianity until I came to Glasgow University. And I never got to know anyone of another faith as friends until I taught in a non-denominational girls' school. Some Catholics even thought I was wrong to take up this post. But my late uncle, a Franciscan priest who lived and worked in the Holy Land for many years, encouraged me. He and another Franciscan had left Jerusalem in 1948 in the aftermath of the First Arab-Israeli War to accompany the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian refugees who sought safety in what was then Transjordan. Their job was to help start new schools, and they did for every refugee child, regardless of religion. Mutual respect between Islam and Christianity was a given. King Abdullah welcomed all the refugees, both Christian and Muslim, and regarded them all as his family. Interfaith cooperation was normal. So inspired by his example, though following it in a very small way in very, very different circumstances, I took the opportunity to meet young women of all faiths and none. In a girls' school, girls have the freedom to express themselves much more openly and easily. And during one classroom discussion, someone asked what Eid was all about. A Muslim girl explained the story of Abraham and Isaac. There was a sudden silence. A Jewish girl asked wonderingly, "Is he not the same as our Abraham?" Slight buzz of conversation. Then a Christian girl spoke out. "I know about him as well," she said. All sorts of questions were asked and answered, all about religion and faith. The light dawning in all the eager faces as they realised how close they actually were, despite labels and differences, is a memory that will stay with me always. That day, interfaith cooperation became normal. We are closer than some people might think. Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael, Joseph, Moses, and Jonah, to mention a few, are in both the Quran and the Old Testament. Mary, or Miriam, mother of Jesus, is the only woman mentioned by name in the Quran. Isa, Jesus, is revered by Muslims as a prophet. And a little detail I find quite fascinating, that the Scots Gaelic word for Jesus is Iesu, exactly the same as the Muslim one.
Yes.
Even more surprising, the keys to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, the holiest church in Christendom, the site of Christ's death and resurrection, have been held by a Muslim family, the Nusaybas, since 1192, ever since the Muslims granted safety for Christian pilgrims after the end of the Crusades. Interfaith cooperation for all those centuries. If only we had a better understanding of the shared origins of the three great religions of the book, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and how much we have in common. If only more religious leaders would spread the word about our shared religious heritage. If only more of us could get together and get to know one another. If only more of us could be free to be ourselves, not labels. We need to know that we, all of us, have a spiritual dimension to our lives and an understanding that all of us want the same things for our world: peace, compassion, justice, and the greatest of these, love. Our faiths tell us this. If we have no faith, our hearts tell us the same things. Surely women are best placed to pass on our values to their children, to our children. Should we not have more of a voice in religious organisations worldwide? Bridging the Gap is a place of talking and listening and sharing for everyone who comes. I didn't even know I was searching for it until I was lucky enough to find it. Jointly founded by the local Catholic and Presbyterian churches, Bridging the Gap welcomes everyone, as Ros had said. Big Thursdays, well, they buzz with talk, with laughter, friendship, cooking, eating, music, dance, art, learning, games, celebration, and of course, those with no religion are as welcome as those of faith. Orthodox Christians from Ethiopia and Eritrea share memories of their home countries with Muslims from the Sudan. Muslims from Iran share stories with Muslims from Syria. Long-time Glaswegians share food cooked by Muslims from Afghanistan, to name but a few connections. Men and women, of course, are equally respected and welcomed. Loneliness is lessened, and love sings out from every corner of St. Francis Hall. No labels, just people Nobody has to answer any questions about who they are or why they come. It matters only that we do come and that we share. Loving your neighbour is normal. So is interfaith cooperation. Christmas parties are legendary, inclusive of all religions and none, lively, brimming over with food from all nations and the laughter of children of all ages, brightly lit, chaotic, loving, unforgettable, and never quite long enough. Bridging the gap, you will not be surprised to hear, because you've heard Roz, the staff are quietly and unassumingly superb. Mostly women, they are tireless, compassionate, talented, and ready to champion anyone in any need. They work with and for others. Toddlers, parents, school children, teenagers, new Glaswegians and long-time residents. They support the marginalised, and the neglected, and provide unquestioning warmth to everyone. Interfaith understanding and interfaith cooperation are normal. Bridging the gap is love in action, and it makes all our hearts sing. Our lives are better if we reach out to others. Our lives are better if others reach out to us. Of course, there are differences in our faiths, but sometimes too much time and energy are wasted in emphasizing these differences. We are all God's children, and we should be a loving, supporting, and peaceful family. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Katherine.
Thank you so much, Roz, Katherine. That was a magnificent story of all the things that you've been involved in over the years in different countries, and all that you have taken from that as well. I liked particularly your phrase, I didn't know I was searching for it until I found it. I think that's what happened to me when it came to interfaith, and realizing all the wonderful people of different faiths. And of course, we must make a shout out to the other ones we work with, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Baha'i faith, pagans, all different faiths working together and acting compassionately. And as you said, looking at for justice, compassion, and love for others as well. Thank you again. So I'm just going to pass back to Roz to introduce Huda.
Well, my sense is that Katherine and Huda are both more than capable of introducing themselves. So, and just another amazing volunteer. Thank you so much, Katherine. That was beautifully spoken, and I'm moved hearing it. Yeah, so passing on to Huda Jaber, who's a Muslim woman from Sudan, who's also a volunteer at Bridging the Gap, and another incredible human being who brings such warmth, and we're so grateful to have as part of our volunteer team. So I'm going to hand over to Huda without any more, because she'll definitely speak for herself. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the First Minister and Molly, Francis, Rose, and thank you, Katherine. Katherine said anything for the Bridging the Gap. First things I want to speak to when I work in the Bridging the Gap, volunteering the Bridging the Gap, I find many things in that community. Okay, people. I work together with people from different places, different skin, different culture. I work for 4 years now, and in the community, I know how do you receive me, how to expect me, me black. I am black, and with different legend, different culture, different social. But the people in the community expect me and work with me. Don't see for my skin, different skin, don't see me different culture or different religion. No, I work with people, and people love me, and I love people in the community, because all the people in the community support me for the when I need help. The people help me when I need information for everything. I find that the many answer for the people in the community. And in this time, the people have to stay together, work together, and feeling together, because this time is hard time for the people. This is time for the coronavirus, and we have to make together to sharing uh, uh, the idea, sharing food, sharing love together, and work together to make a good future for the children and for us and for every person in UK or in the world. And the in the last, I thankful everyone in the community. Thank you.